Alright, in the last video, you guys saw how we turned an antique table into a gorgeous green and black and blue and gold masterpiece. And then we ended up dumping it because I knew it was not what the client wanted. I used the wrong colors and it was sad. But in this one, I'm going to show you how we fixed it. We used different colors and a different technique. I'm going to show you all the ins and outs. You're going to go on a car ride with me. We're going to clean up my garage. We're going to spill things because that's what happens on the daily as I'm a little clumsy. And then we are going to do an epoxy pour over this table now that it's dried for 2 weeks. So stay tuned. It's going to be a fun video. In the last video, you saw me do a dirty flip cup pour. In this one, I'm pouring directly onto the surface with these Pouring Masters paints. Now, the black and white that I got with the Pouring Masters were absolutely gorgeous, and it saved me so much time having them already ready to pour instead of having to mix the flood in. Now, I add the white first because that's what happened in the last one is I thought I had majority white. Well, it turns out when you do the dirty flip cup pour, some of that color got buried, so the white got buried. Then I'm going to add the colors that I want to be primary over it. So I'm going to add a lot of gold, I'm going to add a little bit of teal and a lot of navy. That's going to bring out more of the colors that we wanted to see. Once those colors are on the surface where I want them to be, I'm going to use a hair dryer, and I am going to, this is my expensive hair dryer, this is not my shop hair dryer, but I had looked up this method and I was like, you know what, I think this will be better for filling a surface instead of having it run over the edges. And so the hair dryer is going to push it around, and because I already have silicone in these cups, and again, if you want to see how we mixed these cups with the silicone, go back and watch that other video. I'm going to use the hairdryer to blow this paint around and get it to mix with itself, and in doing so you're going to see the cells and the colors start blending together, and that silicone is going to create some gorgeous cells. Then we're going to be applying the swipe method, so stay tuned. Once I wiped the outer edges clean, I took a wet paper towel and I glided it along the surface, trying to smooth out more of the white and putting the white over the other colors. And I think this is how they create those beach scenes. But you can see immediately that the cells and the silicone start to separate it over the other colors, but it gives it more white. So I'm going to layer it on the outsides, and then I'm going to drag that white across the other colors. Now, you don't want to make your paper towel too heavy with water, but you do want it to be wet. So I'm dipping it in the bucket down below, I'm wringing it out, and then I'm gliding it across the surface. Now you can pour paint across the surface and drag that, or you can just use what you already have there, but just make sure that you don't pull too much so that you are not creating like a divot in the paint. A lot of it is self-leveling, but not completely. Have maybe like 10 more minutes, maybe less, 5. Hello, sun. Good morning, guys. I'm on my second cup of coffee. And it's gonna be a busy day. But this morning you get car rides with Kristen because there's a cop. Okay, I'd put you on my mount, but then you wouldn't be able to see, you'd be looking at the steering wheel. Anyways, this morning I am going to epoxy that table. I've been sitting on it for too long, but I've let it dry for 2 weeks, so it should all be cured. Better to leave it longer when you're doing an acrylic pour before you do an epoxy than try and rush the process in turn, ruining the whole thing and having to start all over. So I bought Total Boat table epoxy, so it's gonna be great. I've used their product before. It is just simple science, and I just have to mix the right amount and mix it for the time that it says, and then transfer cups and mix it again. That's the most important part. But as a mom of 3 kids, I've got one at home sleeping. He's 11. He's already out of school. And then I just dropped my kiddos off at their elementary school. They still have like a week left, and I'm like so on summer break. So I don't know why some schools like go so late into the summer, and then others are out like the second week of May, I swear. So, but first I am going to the gym because I've got to work out. My back is still in recovery mode. I swear to you, my back surgery was about a year ago, and I still don't feel as strong as I was before the surgery. So I'm gonna go work it out today and then get to that Total Boat. All right, we're setting up a enclosed plastic shooting booth, so it's gonna be fun. Hold on, I'm gonna show you around my little plastic booth. So it goes all the way up there, but I'm going to take this curtain and I just unhooked it right there, and then I'm going to run it in front of my garage because we just have so much summer stuff right now, and I don't want any of that dust getting to these pieces. And so the ones that are right behind me, that's what we're doing today. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, we got some epoxy to pour, some acrylic paint to pour, and I'm gonna get that darn coffee table out here and make sure I epoxy it. These are the tragedies you face as a furniture painter. Oh, jeez. Goodness. Ugh. Hey guys, I got a really cool acrylic pour for you today. Oh my gosh! Seriously spilled all this, but now that it's puddling in the middle, it's making a cool pour, so that's fun. Before we begin, I'm going to clean up just some of the top of this with some mineral spirits. To get some of this paint off and just make sure that this is all good to go before we do the pour. Let it dry fully before we pour. Alright, y'all. Taking my contacts in. Who prints this small? It says all surfaces should be dry, clean, free of dust, dirt, oils, blah 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 blah. Here we go. Combine the epoxy part A with hardener part B at the specified mix ratio by 1:1 volume. Guys, easy, but it is science, so like it literally has to be exact. Mix for 3 to 5 minutes until the mixture is blended thoroughly, taking care when mixing not to whisk excessively. To ensure proper mixing, it is recommended to mix thoroughly in 1 cup, getting into the corners and bottom of the cup, and then pour it into a second mixing cup and stir for another 2 to 3 minutes. Alright, first step is we're going to label these cups with A and B. So these are going to be our 4 cups that we're going to mix these into. So I just poured B into there. Next I'm going to pour A and make sure that I can measure, which is why I'm doing this up on the table. can do it by weight, but one of them is a little bit heavier than the other. So it says like 100 grams to like 83 grams. Or you could just measure this. Alright, we're good. So now we're going to pour these into 1 cup. The exotherm reaction starts basically immediately, where we need to get this mixed up in the next like 10 minutes. Alexa, start timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
I need to make sure I have the same amount left over in each cup. So I'm going to check those in a second. I'm going to put those back here. Keep here. And I'm going to start my mixing. This is clean. I am just going to start mixing. And I'm not trying to whisk. I'm just trying to mix while trying to get as few air pockets as I can. I ended up checking the cups and the A cup was fuller, so I'm going to use this gray stick. It's not going to be A stick, and I'm going to make sure that I swipe this cup because it is heavier and therefore it's not draining as much. Alexa, set timer for 2 more minutes.
2 minutes added.
So this is now going to stay in cup A. Alright, we're pouring from cup 1 to cup 2. I just labeled those. Alexa, start timer for 4 more minutes.
4 minutes, starting now.
So this one, Alexa, start timer for 4 minutes.
Second timer, 4 minutes,
No.
starting now.
Alexa, cancel second timer. So this cup we can scoop. This next cup we're not going to scoop, we're just going to pour it as is to make sure that everything is mixed. Drain, but we're not going to scrape the sides of that. But it does need a little bit of help to move about. Oh, let's see. Here. Awesome. Okay.
Have you ever gotten this stuff on yourself?
Oh yeah.
What happens?
It's just the stickiest glue you've ever experienced. So I'm going to make sure that it goes into all my edges. First. That's awesome. Supple. And then you begin to just pull it on your table.
creates what's called cells, which is those circles that you see. Those are cells.
Somehow I missed getting an up-close shot of the butane torch, but the one I used is linked below. It's awesome, and I've used it for so many projects before I had to refill it. But anyways, we run it over the surface after it's sat for a while, and then we come back probably an hour later and basically just pops little bubbles like that start to rise to the surface. If you don't pop them, they will dry like that. I'm gonna leave this dry overnight and check it out tomorrow. She's finished. I could not love it more. Oh my goodness. Glassy surface, super easy to clean, going to last for forever. Epoxy made the gold shiny. Here's it in different lights so you can see how shiny that epoxy is. Oh, I'm so excited to get this back to the client. If you liked this furniture flip, check out some of my other furniture flips on my channel. I'll see you guys next week.